Right, this is how to add bones to an object that has a cylinder arm. I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to leave the foot as its own object, and I think I'm going to attach the hands to the arms. So the arms and the hand is one object. The foot and the legs are two objects. All right. So this guy's all one thing now. His body, whoops, didn't mean to do that. His body is a solid object. His head's its own object. The arms are separate objects, and so are the legs. So now I'm going to go into the helper mode or systems mode and start adding bones. I'm going to press F3 so I go into X-ray mode so I can see what I'm doing in here. And I'm going to start out with the torso bones, and I'm going to start in the butt, and I'm going to work up to the head, left click, right click at the end to get out of this. Right click gets out of the bones. It also adds what is called a nub, a little short bone, which we very, very much need. Okay, I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to add in the arms, but notice when I do the arms that I'm adding a curve for your elbow. When you put your arms up and you bend your elbow back a little bit, think of that when you're doing this, because if you don't put a bend in the bones when you do the arms or the legs, the computer will decide which way the arm goes. Sometimes it picks backwards. So when you're trying to walk, your kneecap will destroy itself and bend the opposite way, which you don't want. So you have to nudge the computer into knowing which way the arm and the legs bend. So what I mean by that, I'm looking at this robot from the top view now, and I'm going to tell it which way the arm's going to bend. So I'm going to start here where the shoulder, it's kind of hard to see here, where the shoulder, I'll press F3, the shoulder meets the arm. I'm going to press F3 now to go back into wireframe mode. I'm going to click here to start the bone. I'm going to go to where I assume or where I want the elbow to be. As you see, I'm going back to the end of the arm, and now I'm going to go into the hand. So I've told the computer where I want that bend. I want the bend this way, and the arm is going to bend like this instead of backwards like this. So I've put that angle in there, and now I'm going to left click, and then I'm going to right click to get out of that. Okay, I'm going to do that again on this side, F3, so you can see what I'm doing. The arm meets the shoulder right here, so F3, that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to put that bend in, go to the end of the elbow, and come back to the inside of the wrist like this. And then I'm going to right click to get out to get that nub. Okay, so the bones sometimes go to the ground, and it's easy to fix. You just click and drag them and move them up. And as you see, my arm's rotated and the bones aren't, so I'm going to have to fix this here. So I'm going to select this bone and rotate it down. Select this bone and rotate it up. It's very easy. So I'm lining it up in the top view when I make the bone, and then in the front view, I'm mimicking the curve of the arm. Okay, now I'm going to do the legs. The legs, you want to go to the side view, and if you get out of this, you go to the systems button over here. It looks like 2 gears. Click on bones. And with the bend of the leg here, this way, I'm telling the computer which way I want the knee to bend. So I'm going to press F3 to go into wireframe mode. I'm going to click right here where the hip meets the leg. I'm going to go to where the knee is. And then I'm going to go to the back of the leg here. Now I'm going to do the foot, and then left click for the foot, and then right click to get that nub. So now I have one bone in the middle. I can go ahead and copy that. So I'm going to click on bones up here. Again, if I'm going too fast in the video, you have the freedom to press pause or slow down the speed so it's easier to follow. I'm just going to select the bones in the leg here. I'm going to drag it over, whoops. I'm going to drag it over to the left where this leg starts, and then to copy it, you just hold shift and then drag it over. Very easy. Click OK. And now I'm going to press F3 to see what it looks like, P to go into perspective. So this guy looks like he's ready to go. Now the next thing that we need to do is add what are called IK solvers. It's very easy. I'm going to click on the upper arm here to do this one, then I'll move to this upper arm, then I'll move to this upper leg, and then that'll be it. So first, starting with the upper arm, I'm going to go to Animation, IK Solver, HI Solver. There's no way you guys are going to remember this. That's why this video is very important. If we did this in class 15 times, you probably still wouldn't remember it until you did it 16 times. That's why these videos are very important. They're easy to follow, and hopefully I can make it quick. But you click on the nub. That's why we needed that nub. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the upper arm bone of the other side. Go to Animation, IK Solver, HI Solver, and then I'm going to click on the nub. And I'm going to demonstrate what this does here in a second. So now upper leg, Animation, IK Solver, HI Solver, nub. Same thing over here, upper leg, Animation, IK Solver, HI Solver, nub. All right, now the bones are not connected yet to the robot, but they should be acting, I need to get out of all, they should be acting more human-like. When I move this around, he's got, yeah. See that? So, and now when I move the leg, it should operate in the way I told it to bend. Okay, it's acting weird, I forgot. In the foot, you need 2 IK solvers. So I'm going to undo what I just did. I'm glad I made that mistake. So what I'm doing is going back to do the legs again. So upper leg bone, Animation, IK Solver, HI Solver, and I'm going to select the foot bone. That puts the nub in the back of the leg. I just put it in the wrong spot, that's all. Okay, and then if you want control over the foot, so if you're moving here and you want to be able to bend the foot up and down, which you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you would select this bone here, and then you would go to Animation IK Solvers and then click the nub. And now you have control over the foot and the leg. So the leg and the foot, and this gets kind of tricky, so maybe if you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you just want to go ahead and stick with the one on the leg, that's completely fine. But in the spirit of continuing, I'm going to select the upper leg bone, go to Animation IK Solver, HI Solver, and click the foot bone. Okay, so now this operates the way I want it to, bends where I want it to. Now we need to link the object to the bones. So if you have any tube limbs, legs, arms, this is how you would do this. If you have objects that are limbs that are made of multiple objects, you would see my other video. So for this, I'm going to go select the arm. First, I need to know what bones these are. So if I hover over a bone, it'll tell me this is bone 7, this is bone 8, this is bone 9. So with this arm selected here, I'm going to go to the Modify tab. I'm going to go to the Modifier list. I'm going to type SK for skin. And it's going to ask me to add bones. So I need to find 7, 8, and 9. So here's 7, 8, and 9. I just select those and click Select. Now when I go to move the hand, the arm goes with it. It's very, very easy. It seems like a lot of stuff to remember. That's why if you have the video, you don't have to remember any of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to do this arm now. I'm going to select the arm, Modifier list, SKIN for skin. And I need to add bones. First, I need to know what bones these are. So if you hover over it, it's 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to click Add Bones, find 4, 5, and 6, select, and now when I move this, the bones go with it. Okay, now I need to do the same things to the leg, but in the legs case, I'm only attaching bones 10 and 11. So I'm going to add a modifier list here, SKIN for skin, and then I'm going to add bones 10 and 11. So I need to find those. Those would be here and here. I'm going to do the same thing over here, add the skin modifier, and I'm going to add bone 14 and 15. Find those, bones 14 and 15, select. Okay, now what I need to do is link all the bones to this object in the middle. So if I'm trying to move this guy, this is not what I want. When I move this torso, I want the whole robot to move with it. So I need to link everything to the torso of this body. So I'm going to press F3. I'm going to select on this root bone. And I'm going to select Animation Constraint, Link Constraint. I'm going to link it to this bone here. Okay? And now I'm going to select the arm bone, the upper arm bone, and Animation Constraint, Link Constraint, and I'm going to constrain it to the torso. Same thing with this bone. I'm going to select the upper arm bone. You can press F3 to get in and out of this. animation constraint, link constraint, you're going to link it to, again, the torso. When you hover over the torso, it's going to highlight itself with a yellow silhouette. Okay, I'm going to move down here, select the upper leg bone, and I'm going to do the same thing to the torso with each one of these upper leg bones. So animation constraint, link constraint, there to the torso. Select this leg, animation constraint, link constraint, click on this box right here. And now when I press F3 to get out of wireframe mode and I move the torso, everything moves with it, obviously, except for the head. So we just need to link this bone to the head here. So I'm going to click the head, constraint, link constraint it to this bone here. So now when I move everything, whoosh, everything goes with it, except for the feet, because we need to link the feet to the bones. So very easy to do. I'm going to click the foot first, animation constraint, and I'm going to link it to this bone here. Same with this one, click the foot, animation constraint, link it to the bone that is inside of it. Now, when I move this guy, everything goes. And when I move the leg, everything moves. And now I'm going to go up here, click all, click on bones, select all the bones, right click, choose hide selection. Now they're hidden. I can change this back to all so I can select stuff. And now when I move this stuff, hey, 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 who they think gonna beat them Lancers? Those Bengals, everybody, even the Browns. Hey, hey, hey. Same thing with the leg down here. It's pretty easy to beat the Bengals, pretty easy to beat the Browns. And then bam, just kick them right in the butt. All right, that's pretty easy. So here's how I would animate this guy right here. I'm going to go ahead and undo what I did. I'm going to press, probably want a couple more seconds on here. Right now, if you do 30 seconds a frame, and you have 100 frames, you're looking at 3 to 5 seconds, depending on how many frames you have down here. To add more frames, I have 500 in mine. You click this little stopwatch down here, and then you go to end time and 500. So you divide 30 into 500 and however many seconds that is, or you can press play down here, go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That's about 3 here, 3, 9. That's about 15 seconds or so. So to turn on animation mode, you press N. All right, and now I'm going to start moving this guy. I'm going to move his torso first, so I'm going to hit the set key right here for his torso, and then I'm going to move him forward the distance that I think 2 steps will take his body. 2 steps will take his body, but what I forgot to do was move the scrubber, so I'm going to press Control Z. After I hit the keyframe right there, I'm going to drag this to 20 frames, because I'm going to say each step takes about 10 frames. So at 20 frames, I'm going to move this guy 1 step, 2 steps. Okay, now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to start moving his legs. So I'm going to hit the keyframe first, and now I'm going to move to frame 10. And now I'm going to move his leg back. And now I'm going to start moving this one forward. So I have to go select this leg. Now I'm going to go back to the very beginning, hit the keyframe, go to 10 frames again, and now I'm going to move his leg forward. So since I don't have that handle on his foot's probably going to go through the floor, which is fine. You can always add a handle and rotate it up, or this is fine. So boom. And now at 20 frames, this foot's coming forward. So this foot should be here. So now I'm going to go in between 10 and 20, and I'm going to raise his foot in the air so he's bending it. Same thing with this foot. At 10 frames, this foot should be in the air so it looks like it's walking. So here he goes, boom, boom. And now I need to do something with his arms. So I'm going to go back to the frame here, and I'm going to start his arms down by his side. So I'm going to hit the keyframe for this one, and I'm going to select this IK solver, hit the keyframe for that one. And now I'm going to go ahead to 10 frames. What's up, Maze? And now I'm going to move this arm into the air right here, and then I'm going to select this one over here, and I'll move this into the air. And now I'm going to go ahead and move this to 20 frames and move this down a little bit. And now I'm going to move it up and just check it over here. So now this guy is doing this. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm going to do 2 more steps so you can get the hang of how to do this. So I'm going to start with this leg here. This leg moved forward, so it's going to start moving backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and go from 20 frames to 30 frames. I'm going to do each step in the frame count of 10 just to keep it simple. And I'm just going to lock that in there so he doesn't move it. Okay, I'm going to go to the other foot now at 20 frames. Select this other IK solver, and this is where I'm going to start moving it. So I'm going to hit the keyframe here, and I'm going to go to 30 frames, and I'm going to move his foot up here where it should be, and I'm going to go in between 20 and 30 and raise it in the air. 25. So what I forgot to do was move his torso. So I'm going to select his torso. You should always do the torso first. And now I'm going to go to 40 frames, and I'm going to move his torso forward 2 steps. So there's 1 step and there's 2. Okay, now I'm going to select back on this leg and go forward. So I need to start moving this leg. Okay, so I'm going to select this leg now, and I need to animate it from 30 to 40. So I've already got a keyframe right there at 30, so I'm going to go ahead to 40 and go ahead and slide it forward. And now in between 30 and 40, which is 35, I'm going to move this thing up in the air. So he's walking. That's the easiest way to do this. It's actually very easy. And if he's got a ray gun in his hand, you can imagine just moving this thing forward. And aiming it at whatever he's going to fire at. Okay, so that's pretty easy. I can help you with that, and stop.